Dinosaurs has been around since 1993, and with a few mixed reactions to some of the sequels, the Jurassic era storyline in this franchise reaches its inevitable conclusion. But is it satisfying? Jurassic World Dominion is the third and final film in the Jurassic World trilogy, is the sixth overall movie in the Jurassic Park franchise, and is the conclusion of a story arc that started all the way back 30 years ago with the original Jurassic Park movie. This has an ensemble cast of the old and the new, reprising their roles from both sides of the Jurassic era. Dominion is set 4 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom, with dinosaurs now living alongside the humans around the world. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Joshua. I talk movies, TV, music, and anime. With that being said, if you like what you see, join me in the comment section down below. Let's talk about Dominion. What did you think of the franchise? Did you like this movie? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere right in the middle? What is your favorite and least favorite Jurassic Park movie? And stick around because there will be a ranking of all 6 Jurassic Park world movies. When it comes to the Jurassic Park overall series, I am a fan of this franchise. Fun dinosaurs, fun escapism, that I get what I come here for, with dinosaurs and fun adventures. I love the original Jurassic Park movie. There's no secret. That movie is an absolute masterpiece. One of my favorite Steven Spielberg films. One of my favorite movies of all time. The Lost World Jurassic Park is definitely nowhere near as good as the original, but I think it's a highly misunderstood sequel that has had a lot of unfair backlash ever since its release in 1997. Jurassic Park 3, for all of its problems, especially with the troubled production it went through, I don't think it's the worst thing ever. It's definitely not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie either. It's just right in the middle, but it's really on the frustrating side of things. Get to the Jurassic World side, I really like the first Jurassic World. Is it stupid? Yes. Does it have cliches? Yes. Are there some villains and characters that could have been fleshed out and better? Yes. Does it have a lot of nostalgia? Yes. But I thought it was a very nice return to form to the franchise that I personally enjoyed more than others. And I am in the minority that actually thinks Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is not as bad as everyone says it is. It has its problems, it has some stupid moments, but I did like where the end of that movie left off. And also I do like Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. I went into that show, it was recommended to me by a friend with little to no expectations. I thought it looked bad. The animation is pretty bled in a couple of seasons, the first few seasons, and some characters I don't think are very fleshed out as much, and some characters I don't really care for. But the more I've watched the show with each season, the more I grow into it. So with that being said, I overall shows you how much I am a fan of the franchise. And going into this, I was excited to see how they would follow that up. Also, not only that, you have the original cast of characters, Dr. Sam Neill, Dr. M. Malcolm, Dr. Ellie Sadler coming in to help with our new 2 set characters played by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, and figuring out how to coexist with them. But of course, things take a turn, and as the franchise always says, life finds a way when it comes to the plot. So I went in with tempered expectations. I was worried, but I was also excited to see what they were going to come up with. This is a fun, entertaining, dumb dinosaur movie, but it definitely has its problems, and I'm going to address those problems. Getting off into the things I really do like. For one, I like seeing the blend of the old and the new. It's great to see Of course, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill back in their roles. It's the first time they've gotten together since 1993. It is nostalgic, and will say, despite some of the iffy writing on them, I still think they still have that essence that make us like them all those years ago in 1993. And on top of that, the other actors from the original movies are very good. You have Chris Pratt once again, who I think is a very good actor. He's good here once again. Bryce Dallas Howard, she is always great, very underrated, very talented director too, especially with Star Wars. And she's also really good. I like some things they give her to do. She and Jeff Goldblum are kind of like the heart of the movie. Some of the other actors, like Isabella Sommer as the clone daughter from the last movie, I thought she was very good. A lot of acting in this movie is very well done. DeWanda Wise is one of my favorite new characters in the movie. I thought she was also really cool. She has some very charismatic scenes. I thought she was a lot of fun to enjoy, and she just, every single moment she had, I was like, she's awesome. I want to see more of this actress. Well, I could say when the movie is focused on what it's focusing on, like idea of humans and dinosaurs working together and living together, I think that makes for some very fun scenes, some very good dinosaur action. Colin Trevorrow knows how to shoot a movie. You can see what's going on. The CGI and the animatronic practicality work is still a sight to see. You're not going to get any better than what you got in 93, but I think for what this last movie does with the dinosaurs when they're on screen, I think it's tons of fun, and it's a lot of fun to enjoy. From the technical aspects, besides the effects, I gotta say the movie's cinematography, the editing, and the musical score by Michael Giacchino is well done. I like a lot of what this movie is going for in that department. When it comes to the overall crazy side of things, I do enjoy that. I do like what they were trying to say, and I like a lot of the dinosaurs here. And just a lot of it is very fun. So, and a lot of the practical effects and most of that stuff in the positives is where the movie shines the most. The whole idea of espionage and the two plots they go with the original trilogy, having to take down this big company, which I'll get to in my negatives. While it could have been done better, I do think it was actually creatively interesting to go, and Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, they're trying to save their daughter, so it's having to go, and it's basically a globe-trotting movie, so I definitely did appreciate that, what they were going for in there. The mix aspect of it, and I think the mix aspect of it is there are certain decisions that I feel like because this is supposed to be the last movie, it doesn't really pay off a lot in terms of certain decisions. For one, I will say that, like I said, it's great seeing the original trio back. They're not underutilized or anything. They have plenty to do in this movie, especially with their subplot working with the new cast members. Some of the writing, of course, isn't the strongest as I thought it was going to be with them. Like I said, I don't come to these newer Jurassic Park movies for the greatest writing. I just want to come for some fun, entertaining monster scenes and at least a decent enough story. And I do get that in some degree. Another thing I am very mixed on when it comes to this, I will have to say a few actors here I do feel like get a little underutilized from previous movies. Omar Sy, Justice Smith, Daniel Pineda. I'm not going to say what they do in here, but I kind of feel like they don't get as much play as I felt they were going to. You would think for this being the overall movie to bring both sides of this home, things will be a lot more imbalanced. When it comes to those three actors and their three characters, they didn't get as much to do there as I felt they should have. The story they're going with, like I said, when it's focused on the actual thing they built up from Fallen Kingdom, I think is actually very creative and very interesting, and I do enjoy that section of the movie. And for the 2 hours and 26 minutes, I was never bored or anything. I was enjoying it. but there are some major issues I do have when it comes to this movie. I will say that Colin Trevorrow, he did try to do the best he can with what he was given here for some of the story directions. Now, let me just go into the negatives, because like I said, I may be one of those people who is in the minority with this, but cannot sit here and say this is a great movie. I feel like the subplots that they have with the original trilogy, having cast members having to go take down this super big bioengine company, I really did not appreciate that. I feel like there was a better way you could have done it, because the way they choose to go at it for this story, the story you have is perfectly fine with humans and dinosaurs living around the world. That, I think, is where all the story you need to tie in both sides of this together. The story does fall apart in half of the story is with this whole bio-engine subplot with Campbell Scott. And even though I think Campbell Scott is a great actor, I don't think he was really worth it here in terms of what they were trying to go for here. You have this whole subplot of motherhood, which didn't really bother me. That's not really much of a negative. It's just more of a mid-side. Focus a little bit more in the last movie with the character development of that little girl. I feel like it would have made it a little bit more emotionally attached. But the subplot of biosyn genetics, I really did not like that. I thought it was not a very creative way to go at it. It does take away focus of the actual main plot. There's an ongoing thing with this stuff with the black market and such, and that didn't really need to go as far as it did. I didn't think it was very interesting to go along with. I respect the fact that you tried to go in some directions that was pretty different for this being the final chapter of the Jurassic era. Because like I said, who knows what they're gonna go after this. Jurassic Planet, go down the Planet of the Apes route or something. If they choose to do more, the biogen didn't hit as much as it should have, like the actual plot that you saw from Fallen Kingdom. There are some iffy writing choices in here that I really don't care for. Now, the script here definitely could use another rewrite, or at least a secondary or third writer to come in and say, some of these ideas doesn't really work. Let's focus on what they focus on in Fallen Kingdom. And I do appreciate the message that they're trying to say. You should never play with something that is not supposed to be there. Locusts getting in the food supply of Earth and such, that was a little bit far-fetched. I feel like there was a better way you could have done that whole subplot with the Earth losing food supply in this, and it would have made it much more sense. But because Locust is getting to it, I just don't really think that was very interesting either. Those subplots with the Locust and the biosyn industry, they do eat up most of this movie's runtime. This movie is 2 hours and 26 minutes. Even though I wasn't bored, I will say you could have trimmed one of these subplots out of this movie and the movie will have flown a whole lot better. My final negative here is I do feel like, as much as I did enjoy the dinosaur action and the stuff with Chris Pratt and the characters, there are two other things that doesn't really work in a satisfying manner. One of them is this whole thing with the daughter, this whole trope with the daughter, even though Cody Leach has said something about this. From now on, don't have it to where kids don't want to listen to the parents and do what they want to do. At least have them listen to the parents, or if they have to really go off in their own direction, make sure that most of these kids have common sense. I know when you have a franchise like this or other franchises where kids have to put themselves in danger and they have to be saved or something, I know that's the formula, but it doesn't really do much here, and it doesn't really have any business to do here. I feel like you could have done something else with the clone daughter of Owen and Claire. Last other side of this is I do feel like the dinosaurs should have had a little bit more to do. They're in the movie, but I feel like they should have had a little bit more to do in this final Jurassic era. Like I said, if they choose to do something like Jurassic Planet or take notes from Camp Cretaceous, we'll see. This is not meant to be realistic. If people are going into this expecting realism or common sense, people, even fans, even if you don't like this movie, just remember this franchise is never meant to be realistic. It wasn't meant to be a franchise with dinosaurs set in realism. This is meant to be fun escapism. If you don't like the movie, more power to you. But there is going to be an audience for this, and most people are enjoying it, even with the negative reviews out there. But all in all, I will say Jurassic World Dominion, it is a entertaining enough film. It is one of the weaker films, but I don't think this is nearly as bad as everyone made it out to be. I'm a little disappointed in certain areas, but I think there's enough good in here that makes this more entertaining for me to rewatch as a fun, entertaining B movie with some issues. This is by no means a great movie, and it definitely has some faults and the negatives I just mentioned, especially those few subplots and decisions. But I would be lying if I said I didn't have a fun time with this movie. There's a cool dinosaur action. I do like the blend of the old and the new. I did like what this movie was trying to do and going off what they did in Fallen Kingdom for the most part. And I will say, if the script was a little bit tweaked before they went into production, at least one more or two more rewrites, I think this would have been a much better movie, and I think it would have been much more satisfying than some people are giving it. But as for right now, I do enjoy this, and I will say, if you are a fan of Jurassic Park, go make up your own mind. You have the choice to see it or not. But if you want to see how this wraps up as far as the overall Jurassic era, if not the entire franchise, check it out in the theaters. But if you are someone who hated Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, or just have seen some of the reviews and choose not to see it, that's completely fine too. But I would say give the movie a fair chance. I would say, me personally, I'm going to give it a highly recommendation. So those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion. What did you guys think of it? Did you like it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere right in the middle? All my other Jurassic Park reviews will be in the description box in the playlist down below. I will do a ranking video. Got more videos coming. We got Miss Marvel. We got other Marvel content. We got older reviews I need to catch up on. Some 2022 reviews I need to catch up on. TV shows I do want to talk about. Talk some more anime. We got all of that coming onto the channel very soon. If you'd like to send money to my Cash App, that's down there in the description box down below, as well as my Amazon wish list, and as well as the address to send it to. All my social media links are in the description box down below. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video. Hit the subscribe button so you will get notified and you won't miss any future content on this channel. Also, be sure to share this video on your social media because it does help the channel grow and it does help the algorithm. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, if not more, by the end of this year. And as always, stay Epictastic, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.